A high severity vulnerability was found in the Bitcoin core code. What's happening? What's going on with Bitcoin? Many people are asking that, and the idea with this video is try to explain everything, what's happening. I'll easily explain what the vulnerability is, what it means, what the bug is, and the potential exploits, the potential attack vectors on this vulnerability. I will also take a look at the timeline of the events and give a broader context of what's happening, okay? So basically, the vulnerability is the CVE 2024 52911. It's the script interpreter remote crash, and it affects all the Bitcoin Core versions below the 29 that is the patched version. And here is my first warning. When we look at data from bitref-com, we can see that there are still many nodes running the unpatched version that are still exposed to this vulnerability. I mean, come on, if you run a Bitcoin Core node, you need to upgrade right now. The second highest node demographics is running the 28.1 version. There are 8.5% of the nodes running this version, and this is the unpatched version. If we look at anything below 29, they are all exposed, and this is not a negligible number. We can see a lot of nodes running that. If we sum here, I did this beforehand, we can see that 32% of the Bitcoin network that we know of, we can't know what all nodes are running, but the nodes we can know are running the unpatched version. So if you run a Bitcoin node, upgrade right now. This vulnerability was discovered in November 2024 by Corey Fields. This guy here, he's a Bitcoin Core contributor. The patch was released in April 2025. Here we can see the PR discussing the vulnerability and the patch. And Bitcoin Core is already at the Bitcoin Core 31.0 version released 2 weeks ago. So already a lot of releases were released after the patch, but only yesterday, May 5, 2026, that we had the public disclosure of this vulnerability, and that's why we are only talking about that now. Niklas Goj talked about that here, and this is a fun fact about this vulnerability, is that he says it's the first ever memory saved issue on Bitcoin. And we have Bitcoin Core is written, if you don't know, in the C++ language. And this is a vulnerability that exists exactly because of how C++ work, okay? So we have the Rust community. I really like Rust, and that's why I'm giving this fun fact here. We have the Rust community that is very well positioned in this being a memory safe language, saying time to rewrite Bitcoin Core in Rust. So they are taking this hook to spread the Rust word in around, right? So that's a fun fact. But let's explain now what this vulnerability is, what the bug is, and why it's related to C++, to the language. And I'll try to do that without too much technical terms, so everyone can understand. So basically, let's go. I'll need a little bit more time, especially because English is not my native language. So it's already hard enough to explain Portuguese, and I did that in a Portuguese video. You can see in my channels. But now in English, I'll try to do that. So what is a Bitcoin node first? A Bitcoin node is a server, a computer, that is connected with other computers running the same software, Bitcoin Core, for example, or not. And they make the Bitcoin network exist, basically. They are the Bitcoin network, okay? So these nodes are receiving blocks from miners, and they are storing these blocks in their drive, basically, okay, in their computer. And this is what creates the Bitcoin ledger, the ledger of all transactions that exist in Bitcoin. So a Bitcoin miner mines a block, that has transactions that users made. The node receives these blocks. The node checks if the block is valid. The node check if all transactions are valid according to the protocol rules. And if it's okay, they store this block, this data in their drive. And this is what makes Bitcoin. Okay, this is Bitcoin, basically. So what happened here is that to optimize this process of validating hundreds of transactions, the node will create a script that runs in the background. Let's try to simplify this. So think about a node as a deposit warehouse and when a deposit warehouse manager, for example. The manager has its own work to do. So to optimize his work and don't need to spend too much time validating all the packages that come to his deposit warehouse, and we can call transactions packages. There are a lot of packages, a lot of transactions at each block. A block can be a truck that comes and unloads all the packages. This manager will hire workers that will be working in his background in the deposit floor while he can continue with all his other functions. So these workers are this C script check, okay, that is validating packet by packet. These workers need to have a reference on what to do. So the manager prepares a sheet with some instructions for them to follow. This sheet is the pre-computed transaction data that each action a worker does point to this pre-computed transaction data that is this sheet. So they have instructions related to what they need to do, and they receive a package, they look at the sheet, they know what to do, they validate the package and store it in the deposit in their node. For that to work as well, the manager needs a supervisor to make sure the workers are doing the right work while he spends his time with other stuff. The supervisor is the C-check queue control, okay? Now, everything works fine if the blocks are valid, because the workers receive the packages, they validate the packages, the supervisor makes sure that they're doing everything right and following the pre-computed transaction data sheet, and everything works perfectly well. The problem, however, is when these nodes receive invalid block, when packages that shouldn't be there reach to the deposit warehouse and they need to be discarded, and the blocks need to be deleted from the node machine, from the node's drive. And the problem is because how C++ deal with object destruction, when data needs to be destructed, need to be discarded. C++ destroy the data in a reverse way of the data arrived to their memory. So basically here, the order is the node will hire a supervisor, a control Q. They will prepare a data sheet. They will hire the workers to work with the supervisor, and they will later prepare this data sheet and deliver to the supervisor and to the workers so they can do the work. When a block needs to be deleted, the first thing that goes out, the first thing that is deleted is the sheet, is the pre-computed transaction data. So what you have now is a supervisor and workers doing their job without reference, doing their job without this sheet. So they don't know what to do. And when they receive a package, they try to point and check the instructions on how to validate this package. They find a blank sheet or no sheet at all, and they go crazy and the nodes crash, and that's what a node crashing happens. So the nodes go down and the network, this part of the network goes down. This is a DDoS attack, is an attack of service denial, okay? When the idea of the attacker is to make the nodes crash so they can shut down and you have less nodes validating transactions, and you have less nodes connected to the Bitcoin network and making the Bitcoin network exist. And you have services crashing, for example, Binance or other services that are running their own Bitcoin node to validate the transactions, to check what the transactions are, if they are valid or not, crashing. And you have these services also crashing. And this is disastrous. Another theoretical attack vector here is not only DDoS, but a possibility that is theoretical only of executing remote code in the node machine, remote code execution. This opens doors for a lot of other attacks, like the attacker could theoretically install a malware on the node machine, for example. If this would be possible, depending on it, maybe the attacker could hide some script in the Bitcoin data that's being deleted, and when there is this memory fail, this script is executed, but it's theoretical because of how Bitcoin blocks deal with arbitrary data. So, but this is listed as a possibility, and this is why it's a high severity vulnerability. So I really hope I could make this clear to you. I I will probably try to write an article on thecoding.substack.com about that. If I can write, you can subscribe to thecoding.substack.com, and if the article goes live, you'll receive it in your mailbox. But I'll also publish contents like this in all my networks, in all my social media accounts. You can follow me on X as well, at vinibarbosabr, and on Substack, both on the coding, but also at vinibarbosa, where I publish notes as well, okay, about these things. And also on YouTube, I'm on TikTok producing video in Portuguese and so on. So I really hope you liked this video. If you enjoyed it and learned something new, share it with others, and see you around. Bye bye.